So there's 3 things you and I need to do yesterday in order to experience and ideally achieve total remission, hopefully for the rest of our lives, from psoriasis. Now, jumping to straight up number 1, what is it? We got to do something about an increased gut permeability. If you don't know what that is, I'll briefly explain it in a second. Maybe you've heard of leaky gut before, maybe not. Doesn't matter. Number 2, we have to do something about a heightened reactive nature of our immune system. It's just a heightened proclivity of our immune system to become inflamed. We got to do something about that. The third thing, which is kind of the easiest thing we have to do, is we have to give hell to those ever-present, pesky, opportunistic fungal infections that are just always watching, and as soon as our body undergoes some type of chaos inside, they exploit these fungal infections, exploit that chaos, take up residence, and then just add to the problem. So those are the 3 things we need to address, starting with number 1, gut permeability. What does that mean? Essentially, inside of our intestine, we have these things, they're literally called tight junctions. There's various things in our diet that cause a loosening of these tight junctions. Like gluten, for example, causes a loosening of these tight junctions. When that happens all over the place, that instigates a wide-scale inflammatory process. And your body starts making more immune cells that are just designed to attack and attack and attack and attack. The reason why is because those metabolites that just are able to slither through these now loose junctions, they have to be eaten up, engulfed by our immune system. Our body doesn't want them to actually make their way through to deeper and deeper tissues. So we end up producing more and more and more immune cells that are just of the attacking type, the nature. That is not good for us in many reasons. We'll kind of explain it I'll explain it in a second. Anyway, so some of these metabolites actually do make their way to our skin, where they create a local inflammation or inflammatory process with our skin cells themselves. So what they do is, anytime we use the word inflammation, or anytime some part of our body activates inflammation, that is like a big loudspeaker that says, hey, immune cells, come check me out. The only problem is this time when they say, hey, immune cells, come check me out, see what's going down in Chinatown. Oftentimes, it's just the reactive type of immune cell, the cell that's designed to create maximum destruction. So it shows up on the scene and says, yep, you're inflamed, let me explode. And that's what happens. Essentially, it just creates more collateral damage, and it causes our skin cells to just grow and divide and divide, divide, divide. And we end up with those lesions like we're all familiar with. Anyway, so we have to put like a big monkey wrench in this whole chaos going on inside of our body. How do we do that? Okay, we got to do it with probiotics, number 1. So, okay, let me just break it down very, very simply. Probiotics are going to help seal up our gut. They make these things called short-chain fatty acids, and they help strengthen and fortify these tight junctions. And when we can do that, when we can actually make our tight junctions tight again, right away, the overall systemic inflammation going on inside of our body is going to start going down and down and down and down and down. And that is going to be awesome for our immune system. Number 2, so you know how I said, like, when we do have increased gut permeability, our body starts making more of those immune cells that just attack and attack. Well, when we can seal these guys up, these tight junctions up with probiotics, and when we actually add probiotics to our diet very, very regularly, they're also able to start creating these new interleukins. They're called interleukin-10. Probiotics stimulate my body to make interleukin-10. And basically, interleukin is just a protein, and essentially it's an immune messenger molecule. And it floats around in your body, and it tells your immune cells to just calm down. The cool thing with this is, like, when you take probiotics and you can really take a lot, so they're really starting to grow and refortify your gut with themselves, they're going to start trickling out this interleukin-10 all the time. And it's going to cause a net anti-inflammatory response from your immune system, which is very, very powerful, because our immune system is part of the problem that drives the skin lesions that we see and call psoriasis. So we want those guys to be calmed, and probiotics really, really do help that. Furthermore, probiotics help with the diversity of our immune cells. So we have like just straight up attacking immune cells, but then we also have some generals. They're called like regulatory T cells and regulatory dendritic cells. When they get called, they show up on the scene and they ask the question, do I really need to be here, and do I really need to explode? Call that guy over here who can explode. Like they're a little bit more intelligent immune cells. So probiotics help us create more intelligent immune cells, and they help decrease the overall gut permeability that might be going on and help decrease the overall inflammation that's going on with our immune system. Furthermore, probiotics help maintain our actual skin barrier functions. They help create these things called ceramide, which is like the mortar that structures all of our skin cells together. They create the natural moisturizing factor, which is basically a compound in our skin that allows it to be hydrated like continually. The probiotics also help us balance our pH of our skin. They are absolutely fundamental for healthy skin barrier, suppleness, and beauty. So like probiotics are the #1 thing to add to your diet. Now the best probiotics, we kind of want to do 2 varieties. One is a spore-based probiotic like Bacillus subtilis, for example. Spores are really good at reconditioning the environment of your gut, creating a better home for the more standard run-of-the-mill probiotics that you've heard of, I'm sure, like Lactobacillus casei, Lactobacillus sakei, Lactobacillus reuteri, Helveticus, Lactobacillus acidophilus. Maybe you've heard of these strains. Essentially, they are lactic acid producing bacteria. These are the guys that are absolutely going to beautify our skin and help seal up our gut from the inside. Very, very powerful. I highly recommend you check these probiotics out. Just get on them. Any that you can do, you definitely want to try it. Okay, moving on to our heightened immune system. Okay, so everything that I just said is going to reduce the overall reactivity of our immune system. But this is going to take a little bit of time. We have, like I said, an overwhelming proportion of immune cells that attack. So in order to help us deal with the exploding immune cells, we want to do something that can kind of soak up or mop up all that oxidation that's going on in and around our skin and our whole body actually. There's a really powerful mushroom. It's called chaga mushroom extract. And it is, first of all, it's a world-class antioxidant. So part of how our immune system works is it releases pro-oxidants. Pro-oxidants denature proteins or just causes proteins to misfold, which is not good inside of your body. That's part of the chaos that goes on. They also accelerate the aging process, which again is not cool. Anyway, antioxidants kind of soak all that stuff up. And again, chaga is a world-class it is orders of magnitude more powerful than blueberries, green tea, red wine, chocolate, whatever you want to throw it against. Like, it is so much more powerful. It is also an immune system adaptogen. So while we're on those probiotics and the probiotics are working to recondition, reshape our immune system, chaga mushroom will also do the exact same thing, kind of in a different way. Chaga mushroom has these complex sugars, these polysaccharides that help balance our immune system with itself. So if it's too high over here, it'll bring it down. If it's too low over here, it'll raise it back up. It has this overall net balancing effect. Now, actually in Russia, there's a lot of research done in Russia regarding chaga. Anyway, in Russia, there's this particular this particular formula of chaga. It's called Chagavit. And it's actually in Russia almost a standalone Russian treatment for psoriasis. Like, it's that powerful with soaking up that pro-oxidation that goes on with the immune system activation and with helping to just balance the overall immune system. It's very, very cool. Now, moving along to these pesky invaders that take advantage of our chaos. Okay, so basically we can do 3 things and briefly mention them. Pine bark GSC, it's a good mild antifungal, and black cumin seed oil, again, another good antifungal. And I actually want to stress the word mild. Like if we go and get a really, really powerful antifungal drug, it is very, very effective. It kills all the fungus in our body. The problem is if we already have problems with our detoxification organs, like our colon and intestine ain't working right, our skin ain't working right, and odds are our liver ain't, etc. If they're not working the best, all of a sudden we're just going to have a bunch of dead fungal bodies floating around in our body, and we can't excrete them. And it's going to make us feel sick, which is just going to reactivate the immune system. Not cool. That's why I want to stress the word mild. So black cumin seed oil, pine bark GSC are mild fungal agents that we can use that will slowly give hell to those pesky fungal infections that are invading us from every direction, and slowly eliminate them at the speed of our detoxification systems. Pine bark GSC and black cumin seed oil, again, are really, really effective, but I just want to focus in on one part of black cumin seed oil. You can also use it topically as well as internally. And it is really, really good at soothing the lesions, just helping to diminish that severe itch, if you know what I'm talking about. Really, really effective. And finally, there's just one other thing that's also really, really good. It's pine tar soap. You can do coal tar soap also. I like pine tar soap. They have very, very similar actions. Essentially, it's just a really, really good antibacterial, antifungal soap that essentially you use, obviously, on the outside of your body, on your skin. And when we're talking about psoriasis, we're talking about an expedited keratinization process. That word keratinization is just kind of like the process of us making skin, for example. When we have psoriasis, that is in various patches, it is sped up by 1,000%, not really, but like 1,000%. Pine tar soap actually slows down that process, and over time can buffer and soften our psoriasis lesions. Anyway, this is an awesome protocol that will definitely help you out and put you on a good direction to successful, ideally healing. Anyway, we wish you all the success in the world, and cheers.